What's up YouTube, this is Uchiha here to bring you another video per request from a subscriber of mine. He wanted me to do a top 10 of anything, so I'm decided I'd do a top 10 villains pretty much of all time. But keep in mind that this is just my opinion. If someone's not in here, it's probably just because I haven't seen it or I don't remember. Also, I was going to do this like AMV style, but I figured I'd just make a video instead of AMV. So anyway, to start off, we'll go with number 10 down to 1. So 10 would be Matoku Soso from Iki Tosen. It's a short series and it's a fan service series, but he was kind of, to me, he was pretty much like a mini pre-Aizen. Like throughout the whole series, he manipulated the whole show. He pretended like he was the boss, and although he was actually, he pretended like he was the second in command, but secretly he killed the boss. So all the orders that came from the boss was actually coming from him. And even his name, if I remember right, that's not even his name. He assumed a fake identity throughout the whole show until the ending. You actually find out what his real name is, which I don't remember. It's just like with an O or something. And to me, that's why he's in the top 10, just because, you know, he was like one of the first manipulators, aka pre-Aizens. Alright, so we go with number 9. This might upset some people, but I'm putting Madara in my top 10, and he'll be my 9. And the reason why I'm putting him on 9, because, you know, even if you don't like the show or the manga, or if you think he sucks or he's cheating because he's Edo Tensei, whatever your reason, I mean, he is still pretty awesome. I mean, he destroyed the battlefield. I mean, you can't really downplay that. I mean, he summoned freaking meteors, like, and easily. I mean, yeah, he has unlimited chakra, but nonetheless, he summoned multiple meteors that came out of nowhere. He was spamming pretty much Susanoo. He had like 3 of them. He playing with the Kage. He's playing with BG mode, Naruto, the full transformation, 8 Tails. I mean, like, he is taking on the top tier, and he's playing. He's not even serious. So for that, he definitely deserves a spot in my top 10. Possibly he could have been a lot lower, but I feel like he's more or less has done everything physical. I mean, yeah, he pretty much planned everything too. Just like most people in my top 10 pretty much have planned things from the beginning. I mean, when he was alive, he planned everything. Even when he was dead, his puppet did everything that he said. So I mean, for the past, what, like 50, 100 years or so, his plan has been in motion. So that's why he's in the number 9. Number 8 will be Akainu from One Piece. Pretty much the reason why he's in here, I mean, he's pretty boss. I mean, he's an admiral, and so obviously he's pretty much top tier. But if I remember right, he gave us like the first death in One Piece, and if you watch One Piece, you know we do not get a lot of that at all, any. So like I said, I mean, he killed, and like, not only did I think he gave us the first death, he killed Ace. So that is a little spoiler. I'll probably just put a description below, spoiler. I mean, he killed Ace, and I mean, Ace wasn't my favorite character, you know, but he was Luffy's brother, so that was pretty emotional. Like, for a first death, you know, killing Luffy's brother like that is pretty epic. I didn't even believe it. Like, when I actually read the manga of that, and like, you actually see his hand through Ace. Like, that was pretty intense for me. And it's a shonen, so, you know, I wasn't even expecting to actually see his hand going through his chest. And I think he actually stayed there, so like his hand is just in. And I mean, that caused pretty much an epic scene. I think, if I remember right, after that, like, Whitebeard went pretty much crazy and damn near destroyed Marineford. But I mean, I think for that, he deserves a spot on this list. Number 7 would be Thouzer from Fist of the North Star. That's pretty old anime / manga. A lot of you probably may not know what this is, but Thouzer, he was pretty epic. Like if you remember when pretty much the death of Shu, that was pretty intense. And if I remember right, he damaged his legs and he made Shu walk up this giant freaking pyramid that was insanely tall, carrying like the top of the pyramid, like the diamond. I don't remember how heavy it was, but I would imagine it's probably a couple thousand pounds. So Shu, damaged legs, can barely walk, is walking up the pyramid, carrying this insanely huge freaking pyramid top, and everybody's watching, and it's pretty sad. I mean, it's pretty sad. And then, like once he gets to the top, if I remember right, I think he kills him, and then the top falls on him, and that's how he completes. That's how Thouzer's pyramid gets completed. Now that was a pretty epic moment, especially for an older type of manga. And I don't know if it's shonen or standing or whatever, but that was a pretty epic moment. I mean, he pretty much got a slow torture to death. I mean, that was intense to say the least. And number 6, I'm going to go from Rurouni Kenshin, Sawagejo, if I remember, Cho. He's not nowhere near a main villain. And this is from an anime, so I don't really know too much if he's canon. But I mean, he sucked. Don't get me wrong. But the reason why he's in 6 is because, in my opinion, he made Kenshin break his creed. We all know Kenshin don't want to kill, so he has to Sabato, and he never tries to kill. Even when he goes into his split personality and he's about to kill, he always snaps back at the last minute. But to me, Cho made him. He didn't kill, but he made him kill, because he was in a stance. He's freaking out. His eyeballs are like white because his like the actual iris and whatnot disappeared, and he was contemplating. Like he was pretty much stuck in motion, like contemplating. Because for those who don't know, his sword got broke, so he had a replacement sword. But the replacement sword was as far as we knew, was a normal katana. So obviously, a normal katana would be sharp and dangerous and normal with the blade on the bottom. So if he would slash, it would kill. So Kenshin is stuck in this position, and he is like pretty much on the verge of a breakdown, and he does break down. And like I said, his freaking irises are like gone. It's just white, and he's freaking out. But he goes and he attacks Cho, and at the end you see Cho fall, and then it stops. And at least me, I mean, everyone was just like, oh my god, Cho is dead. I mean, that was insane. I mean, we later on found out that sword was actually not a normal katana. It was luckily a Sakubato reverse blade sword, so Kenshin did not kill. But to me, in my opinion, Cho made him break his creed. I mean, he was lucky. He was lucky that the ceremonial sword was not a normal sword. Because I mean, if it wasn't that, Cho would have been dead. Because he attacked, and Kenshin did not know that was a Sakubato. So in my opinion, Cho made Kenshin. He was the only one to actually truly make Kenshin go back on his creed, because he would have been dead hands down. And that's why he's on number 6. Cho himself sucked. He was a sword hunter, but he sucked compared to Kenshin. But he made Kenshin break his creed, and that is easily number 6. Probably could have been way lower than that, because he made a main character go back on his creed. Like we recently, for those who's in Naruto, we see Naruto was about to go to the dark side before he got slapped by Hinata. But Kenshin, to me, he actually went to the dark side. He was fully committed and killing again. He was just lucky that it turned out to be a Sakubato and not a normal sword. So that is why he's in my number 6. Number 5 would be Frieza. Pretty much for the simple fact was he was the original genocide planet destroyer. I mean, before there was anybody else destroying planets or genocide, Naruto obviously, among other animes, Frieza was the original genocider, or whatever you call him. For those who may not know, which is probably a slim chance, Frieza was, he was responsible for the death of the Saiyans. Pretty much, he obliterated the whole race. And I mean, if you kind of notice, it's pretty much like Naruto, but obviously Naruto copied off of them. With the whole Uchiha being massacred, but only having 2 survivors. Frieza destroyed all the Saiyans, and there was only 2 survivors pretty much at the end of the Dragon Ball Z series, which was Vegeta and Goku. So that's why he's on number 5, because he was the first genocide. He was the first planet buster I seen, and there's really not any fanboys in why he's in number 5. I mean, I think that's good enough. I mean, he was the originator of the genocide as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so number 4, this is maybe a little more controversial, but I put Juhabach in my number 4. Just for the simple fact of, in like, what, 5 or 10 chapters, he pretty much flipped Soul Society on top of his head. I mean, that's pretty, and he's a Quincy. Like, before our measure of Quincy awesomeness was Uryu, which I'm not gonna lie, I liked it Uryu. I mean, he was pretty cool. But when Juhabach came with the Vandenreich, I mean, it totally flipped the script on Bleach. Quincy's went from, like, to me, low tier to freaking top of the top tier. They all, the Vandenreich, his Stern Rider, all fighting captains, and they're not fighting just like Kenpachi or nothing, which I like. I love Kenpachi, don't get me wrong, but I mean, they're fighting every captain, including Captain Commander Yamamoto, and they're winning. Their Quincy powers is on a whole nother level than what we ever saw from Uryu, or even probably could even imagine coming from Uryu. And obviously Juhabach, for those who may or may not know, he killed Yamamoto pretty much with ease. And Yamamoto is Captain Commander, so he's pretty much thought to be the strongest character in freaking Bleach, or at least probably top 3. And Juhabach beat him easily. I mean, I don't even think Juhabach got a scratch on him. That was insane. I mean, that reason alone, like he like. I don't know if people understand this. Like, the freaking Vanderite being human and Quincy's, they flip the freaking script in Bleach. Now, there's no way in hell you can. If I told you that Quincy would kill Yamamoto like a year ago, you would not believe me. You would. I know you would. But after seeing that, I mean, that was insane. I mean, hands down, Juhabach and his Quincy's just flipped the script, and easily, that's why they're number 4. Number 3 is Light. To me, he's hands down a villain. I mean, personally, murder is murder, no matter how you think you're justifying it or not. So to me, he's pretty much obviously a villain. But I mean, he's one of my favorite villains. I like psychological stuff, and Light was all about psychological stuff. So pretty much why he's my favorite. Like, I mean, he was smart. He was in high school, and he was, in essence, he was playing with the world. I mean, like, I didn't watch all of it. I didn't watch all of Death Note, but I kind of have an idea of what happened. And I mean, Light was in high school, and he kept my favorite character, L, and I mean, it was insane. I mean, he was highly intelligent to just plan out everything and elude the world. Like, seriously, like, the world was looking for him and no one knew. I mean, he was in plain sight. Like, I think, if I remember right, he eventually started actually working for the police or whatever, and in the same investigation as the Kira investigation. I mean, Light was almost like a one-man army. I mean, he infiltrated, he had this tactical plan. I mean, Light was definitely one of the best villains for that. I mean, psychological, there's very few people that I would hold higher than Light. And Light was only, what, like 16? I mean, Light is, he was a special case for sure. Number two, this is, this is probably really controversial, but I'm putting Aizen. I mean, Aizen is, yes, he's the king of trolls, But I mean, at the same time, I mean, Aizen, he was on some other stuff. I mean, he planned every event in Bleach that happened from chapter 1 to chapter 522. He planned. I mean, I honestly think he even planned getting caught at some point and losing. I really do, because I mean he's still in the scene, you know, and like he's in prison, but he still played a part so far, you know, messing with Uchiha Sensui. And I mean, if I remember right, this dude said like he knew Ichigo before he was born or something like that. I mean, like and if I remember right, I think he knew that Ichigo was a Quincy, because I think if I remember right, he told Ichigo like, you know, you're special, you're not just a Shinigami, and then it cut off. Like Aizen knew everything, every little thing about everybody. I mean, his plan was at least took 20 years or 16, however old Ichigo is, but even more than that. I mean, he was planning this for hundreds of years. And even when like it got in motion with and he created the Espada, and he went transcendent, like, I mean, he's kind of bullcrap how he lost, but I mean he pretty much at that point when he went transcendent, I mean he could have just destroyed everybody. But I mean that's pretty much why he's number 2. I mean, more or less for his planning and manipulation. Like even when I first seen Bleach, I seen it on Toonami. And I didn't read it on the internet or none of that. I was straight like Toonami. And like the first 10 episodes, this dude he dies, he gets stabbed, and I think he's pretty much gone for like a nice little amount of time. And we found out like he's not even dead. Like that was just one little step in his plan for world domination. I mean, Aizen, a lot of people may not like him because, I mean, he was a big troll. But, I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due. And last but not least, number 1 I think, is Sensui. Now, obviously, number 1 can always be debatable. But to me, Sensui was the best. One of the best bosses ever. Not bosses, but I'm thinking video games. Best villains. I mean, just his whole character, to me, is easily just one of the best characters. Like, I could easily put him in the top 3, even probably 10 years from now. I mean, for those who don't know, Sensui was I'm presuming, second spirit detective. And as a kid, like, he put cool bar to shame, really. As a kid, like 5 years old, he not only could sense demons, he could see demons, and not only that, he could kill demons. I mean, yeah, they're like E-class, but I mean, in E-class would still kill a human easy. And like he was a kid killing demons easily. He was manipulated throughout his whole entire life. You know, Koema realized how strong he was, and he pretty much wanted to harness his powers, so he made him a spirit detective. And Sensui, yeah, he had a very strong sense of justice, even at an early age. And, you know, it's pretty much, you know, humans are good, demons are bad. And, when you see Chapter Black is really, to me, kind of what made Sensui. I mean, like I said, you know, he's black and white, demons good, humans bad. Oh, demons bad, humans good. And that's how he carried out his sense of justice. My bad. Yeah, you know, he had a strong sense of justice to me. Like, you know, everybody, I think, has a general moral of doing the right thing when you can. But I mean, even at the young age of that he was, from 5-year-old to middle school, high school, he had a very strong sense of justice. And that's all. And all he needed to know was that demons were bad. He didn't need a technical explanation. Like, you know, like personally, you know, if I'm gonna kill something, I want to get like full background on him. Whereas he didn't need that. You know, Koema said demons are bad. Enough said. And that's how he killed endless demons without even questioning what he was doing, if it was right or wrong. and then he discovered Chapter Black. To me, Chapter Black is what made Sensui. Like, Sensui wouldn't be Sensui without Chapter Black. Power wise and mental wise. Like, Sensui, we may have still had Yusuke, but Sensui would not be the Sensui we know if it weren't for Chapter Black. I mean, Chapter Black was the start of the personalities. The first personality that I presume we see is Kazuya. When he finds Chapter Black, and well, not finds Chapter Black. Then he found Chapter Black after. But when he invaded to get Chapter Black, he seen the young Black Club torturing demons, and that just twisted him out. Cause like, you know, if me or you probably had an assumption or something, and we found out it was wrong, more or less it'd be like, okay, now we can think differently. But his world was so black and white. Like, he only thought one way. He only thought linear. And when he seen that, it just completely broke him down. And like I said, that's when we seen Kazuya, and he slaughters humans. And that was the first time that he killed a human. And like I said, it made him question, like, are humans bad? Or, you know, are demons really bad? And, you know, it put his whole life under question. Like, that was his first time questioning whether what he was doing was even morally right or wrong. And I mean, eventually, obviously, he formed more personalities, and that's became the Sensui we know. Like, if it wasn't even for him forming the 7 personalities, he wouldn't have even discovered the sacred energy. And to me, you know, the sacred energy is what made him. I mean, obviously, it's made him more strong. I mean, his personalities were being Yusuke, but when Yusuke got 100% serious, Shinobu was needed. And, you know, once he like, Shinobu was the first S-class rank, per se. I mean, not like in general, but as far as the fans know. I mean, he was a demon, so he technically did not have a class. But his class was comparable to an S-class demon. And if you remember, Toguro, we all remember Toguro. Toguro was a B class. I think, if I remember right, was a mid B, and he transcended B, A, and it was S. S class, to let people know who may not know, S class, the 3 demons, the 3 kings in Yu Yu Hakusho were S class, and Sensui was in that class with the 3 kings were like at least 1,000 years old. Sensui's like, what, 30, 40 or something? And he was on that level. He was on a level where if he fought 100 Togoros, he would easily win with one hand behind his back. I mean, we all like Toguro. I love Toguro, but ranking wise, like, it's not just like, okay, he's a step ahead. In Yu Yu Hakusho, the classes are insane ahead. Hiei, if you remember when Hiei went to go train with Makuro, when Hiei became an S class, he fought 500 A class demons with ease, with a sword. That was it. So that, like, I mean, like, power gaps is insane. And like I said, he was a human. Sensui was a human. He was not demon at all. And he was on a king level. Like, I don't even know how many animes you can say, like, pretty much like a nobody was as strong as a somebody, per se. So that alone was insane. And, I mean, Sensui goes, like, I think a lot of people are misconstrued this, like, a lot of people probably think like he wanted to destroy the world, he hated humans. But if you've seen the ending of the fight, like, to me, Sensui, I mean, in a sense, his goal was kind of warped, but I mean, he was crazy because, like, ultimately what he did, like, I really wouldn't say it was bad. Like the whole demon gate opening, like, I really don't even think he wanted that. Like, I don't really think he wanted demons to invade the earth. Like, he said, like, he wanted to, so, you know, everyone would be free or whatever. But I really don't. I think Sensui, like he said at the end, he wanted to see the world through someone else's eyes. And it's something that even in real life that you won't necessarily ever be able to do. Like, you'll never see the world through my eyes, how I see it. And that was what Sensui was trying to strive for so hard. He wanted to, you know, he was, when he was born, he was freaking demons were hunting him from how strong he was, and he was killing them easily. And you know, like his whole life was a lie. You know, he always black and white demons were bad, so you know, I'm gonna kill them all pretty much. But when the chapter Black came, like he had to question everything. So he questioned. I think he even questioned his own morality. So, like he wanted to try to understand a demon. To me, like one of the most awesomest parts in Yu Yu Hakusho, hands down, was when Yusuke. I mean, we all know he killed Yusuke. Yusuke's pretty boss for that. I mean, he died twice and came back. But anyway, he killed Yusuke. Yusuke came back because he was his Ryzen, his forefather, his blood awakened, and so it brought him back. And so they were fighting, and Ryzen took over and killed Sensui pretty much. But to me, like I said, the most awesome part was, you know, Yusuke. What he said to Yusuke, like he said, you know, I always wanted to see the world. I always wanted to come here to Demon World, and I've always wanted, like he said, Yusuke was a demon in a human's body, and now he's a human. Wait, he was a demon in a human's body, and now he's a demon, and he's a human inside now. For some reason I can't say that right. Demon in a human's body, and a human in a demon's body. Human in a demon body, demon in a human body. Whatever. I'm not gonna keep thinking about that. Pretty much what he was saying, like before, Yusuke was just, he was more demon-like. You know, he only cared about fighting. Like he wasn't human. He was human, but like mentally, he really wasn't human. And now that he came back, now he's not a human. Now he's a demon. So before he was a human looking through demon eyes, but now he's a demon looking through human eyes. Because now he's a demon on the outside, but he's a human on the inside. And you know, since we said, like, you know, after all my years of trying, that Yusuke, you were able to bridge the gap that I could never bridge. And like to me, that was the most awesomest moment like ever. And like he pretty much, yeah, Yusuke had that effect even on the world. But that's pretty much why Sensui's in my top. He's my number one, because I mean Sensui to me was the most awesomest villain ever. I mean, he was a villain, you know, but to me he wasn't too much of a villain. I mean, he just, to me, Sensui's ultimate goal was just to find the truth. And like I don't really think he wanted to kill anybody or none of that. I mean, he was in essence crazy, but I think ultimately his goal was just to find the truth. And although he wasn't necessarily able to find that, he, in essence, he lived through Yusuke. Yusuke was able to grant his last wish, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, Sensui is my number one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is hands down my longest video I've ever made. But if you watched it all, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. You know, comment on my list, or any people you think should be in it, or just, you know, recap my moments. Thumbs up the video and subscribe for more. And it's for you, Itachi, signing out.